Good morning, boys and girls. Today is day 3 of week 7 packet. You should have a snowflake with a number 13 in the corner of your paper. Remember that this video is just a tool to use, so do as much of it as you can first by yourself and then use the video to check your work and correct your answers. And any problems you got stuck on or you didn't know how to do, then you can use the videos and I will walk you through those problems. Let's get started. Number 1, find the sum. 7 plus 3 equals 10. I'm going to bundle those 10 and move it to the tens place. 1 plus 4 equals 5. 5 plus 5 equals 10. Same thing, bundle them and move them over to the next place value. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 9 equals 16. Write down your 6, bundle the next 10 over to the thousands. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 6 equals 13. Remember, the trick is wherever these commas are, you bring it straight down, but you want to count your digits to make sure that it's correct. You should have 3 digits behind the comma. 1, 2, 3. The sum is 13,600. Number 2, find the difference. The difference is the answer in subtraction. 1 subtract 3. If you only have one item, you cannot take 3 away. So we need to go over here to the tens place, take one of the tens, so that leaves me only 4. Unbundle it into 10 ones. 10 ones plus the one I already have equals 11 ones. 11 subtract 3 equals 8. 4 subtract 8. If I have 4 things, I cannot take 8 away. I'm going to go to the hundreds place, take one of them, so I have 2 left. Unbundle it into 10 tens. I already have 4 tens, so together I have 14 tens. 14 subtract 8 equals 6. 2 subtract 6. If I only have 2 items, I cannot take 6 away. I'm going to go over here to the thousands place, take one of them. That leaves me 3 left. Unbundle it to 10 hundreds. I already have 2 hundreds, so together I will have 12 hundreds. 12 subtract 6 equals 6. 3 subtract 2 equals 1. Bring your comma straight down. Make sure you have 3 digits after it. 1, 2, 3. The difference is 1,668. Number 3, find the product. 67 times 59. The product means the answer in multiplication. I'm going to use my scratch paper to solve this problem, and I will use an area model. To use an area model, I have to take this number 67 and put it in expanded form. That means I'm going to stretch it out into place value. This 6 is in the tens place. That means the value is 6 tens or 60. This 7 is in the ones place, so the value is 7. For the number 59, the 5 is in the tens place. The value is 50. The 9 is in the ones place. The value is 9. Remember that area model means length times width. So for the first rectangle, it will be 60 times 50. Using place value, because they're multiples of tens, I can count the zeros. I have 2 zeros and I can put 2 zeros in my answer. And then I have a basic fact, 6 times 5. Go to your multiplication chart, find the 6, go over until you reach the 5. And where the 2 lines meet in the middle, that's your answer. 30. 6 times 5 equals 30. This problem says 60 times 50, which equals 3,000. For the next rectangle, it will be 50 times 7. 50 is a multiple of 10. I can count the zeros and put the same number in my answer. Then I have a basic fact, 5 times 7. Come over to your multiplication chart, find the 5, and where the 7 meet, that is your answer. 5 times 7 equals 35. But in this case, we're saying 50 times 7, which is 350. Go to your bottom left rectangle and it will be 9 times 60. 60 is a multiple of 10, so I can count the zeros and put it in my answer. Then I have this basic fact, 9 times 6. Go to your 9, find the 6, and where they meet in the middle is your answer, 54. But remember, this is 9 times 60. 9 times 60 is 540. The last rectangle is 9 times 7. That is a basic fact also. Find your 9, follow it over to the 7, where they meet in the middle. That's your answer, 63. And now I have to take all these inside products, partial products, add them up to get my total. Make sure everything is lined up in the ones place. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 3 equals 3. 0 plus 5 plus 4 equals 9, plus 6 more equals 15. Write the 5, bundle the 10 and move it to your hundreds place. 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 3 equals 4, plus 5 equals 9. And 3 plus nothing is 3. Count your digits from the ones place. 1, 2, 3, put your comma. My product of 67 times 59 is 3,953. Number 4, find the quotient. Remember, we're not going to work with 2-digit divisors yet, so you can go ahead and skip that. Question 5, use the rule to continue the pattern. So down here I can see that I'm going to have a pattern. This is your rule right here. Start at 50. They already did that for you. Subtract 8. So I'm going to say 50, subtract 8. If you need to have kind of like a little running total over here, you can do that. So I'm going to have to regroup. 10 subtract 8 equals 2. 4 subtract nothing equals 4, 42. Then I'm going to subtract 8 again, because that's my rule, subtract 8. Again, I will need to regroup, take 1 from the tens place, unbundle it and put it into the ones. 12 subtract 8 equals 4, 3 subtract nothing equals 3, so 34. Then I'm going to subtract 8 again. Again, I can see that I need to regroup. Guess I should have done this on my scratch paper. 14 subtract 8 equals 6. 2 subtract nothing equals 2. Then I'm going to subtract 8 one last time, so I can go ahead and just go over here where I have some extra room. 26 subtract 8. I need to regroup again. I'm going to come to my tens place, take one of them, unbundle them. So I have 16. 16 subtract 8 equals 8. 1 subtract nothing equals 1. So I have 18. So your pattern should be 50, 42, 34, 26, 18. 6, write the number in standard form. So I taught you the trick to do this. All you're going to do, you can see that this is they actually were supposed to put a plus sign here. So this is a mistake. You can go ahead and write in that plus sign. All you're going to do is, you can see it's like a giant addition problem because they have written it in expanded form. You're just going to turn it into a vertical addition problem, and then we will have our standard form number. So I'm going to write the 600 down here. Everything has to be lined up in the ones place. Then I'll write the 30 right here, again lining it up in the ones place. And then I'll simply add it up. 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals 0. 0 plus 0 plus 3 equals 3. 0 plus 6 equals 6. Bring your comma straight down. 0 plus nothing is nothing. 1 plus nothing equals 1. In standard form, this number is 10,630. Number 7, draw a rhombus and partition it into 4 equal parts. Remember, a rhombus is like a diamond. Okay, I have my diamond, and then to put it in 4 equal parts, I can simply divide it into half, and then divide it in half again. So it could look like that, or I could go the other way, and I could do it like that, or you could connect them all in the middle. And I could divide it that way into triangles. Okay, remember that partition comes from the word part, and it just means put it into parts. And it's important to pay attention to this word equal. The parts must be equal. Number 8 is a word problem. We're going to use our cube strategy. All good readers read all the way through first to get the gist, and then we will read the second time, marking it up with our cubed strategy. To decorate the school gym, Mrs. Neal's class made 1,218 snowflakes, and Mr. Brown's class made 1,492 snowflakes. How many snowflakes were there in all? Let's go ahead now and circle the numbers in units. So I have 1,218 snowflakes. In this case, snowflakes is my unit. Then I have 1,492 snowflakes here. You underline the question, how many snowflakes were there in all? B, box the key words, how many, and in all. So E, evaluate. I'm going to think in my head then, what does it mean when we see how many in all? It means put them all together. Since I only have 2 numbers I'm putting together and they're different numbers, I'm probably going to add. D, draw a picture. I'm going to go to my scratch paper to draw a picture. I'm going to draw a tape diagram. The first tape diagram will represent Miss Neal's class, 1,218. And I'm going to just write an end for Mrs. Neal. Then I have another box for Mr. Brown, and his tape diagram will be slightly bigger because he did more, 1,492. And I need to know how much it equals all together. I'm just going to add it up, and I'm going to make sure I add up in my ones place. 8 plus 2 equals 10. I'm going to go ahead and bundle it and move it to the tens place. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 9 equals 11. Put the 1 down, bundle the other 10 to the hundreds place. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 3 plus 4 equals 7. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Count your digits starting from the ones place. 1, 2, 3, and put your comma. My answer is 2,710. Remember that it's not enough to just write a number. You have to be able to tell me what that number represents. So I'm going to write it in a sentence. How many snowflakes were there in all? There were 2,710 snowflakes in all. Question 9. Write the mixed number as an improper fraction. We learned this last week. I'm going to play a short video reminding you of how to do this, and then we'll do it together.
How to change a mixed number to an improper fraction. You've got to know how to do this when you're doing fractions. Let me walk you through how to make sense of it so you can do it too. Here's a mixed number. You might also hear this thing called a mixed numeral or a mixed fraction. Different names, but they all mean the same thing. Every mixed number contains a whole number part and a fractional part. Here we've got 2 and 2/3, that's 2 whole ones, and the fractional part is 2/3. When we change between a mixed number and an improper fraction, we're saying how many parts there are in total, and we're giving that information in the form of a fraction. The denominator tells us how many parts are in each whole. A denominator of 3 means that each whole has 3 parts, and we have 2 wholes. This fractional part tells us that we have 2 parts out of 3. We can see all our parts in this diagram. How many parts have we got? There are 2 wholes, so that's 2 lots of 3, 6, plus 2 more parts, that's 8. and we keep the same denominator because this is still parts out of 3. So we put the total number of parts, that's 8, over our denominator of 3. And there's your improper fraction. We can also do this work without using a diagram. Let's take another example. 4½ Each whole is worth 2 because our denominator is 2. I have 4 wholes, so that means I have 4 lots of 2, or 4 times 2. That's 8. And I have another part here to add in from the numerator of 1. So 8 plus 1 is 9. That's our number of parts, so that's our numerator. I use the same denominator we started with, 2, and I'm done. 4½ is the same as 9 over 2. And I can use a diagram to prove it. 4 wholes. Each whole is worth 2 parts, plus 1 more part out of 2. That's 9 parts out of 2. It's the same answer. 5¾ This is 5 wholes. Each whole is worth 4 parts, as the denominator tells us. So we say 5 times 4 is 20. Add the remaining 3, that's 23 parts. Put that back over our denominator of 4. Done. 6⅔. 6 wholes. Each whole is worth 3 parts. So 6 times 3 is 18. Add the remaining 2, that's 20 parts. Put that back over the denominator of 3. Done. Last one. 8⅕. 8 wholes. Each whole is worth 5 parts. So 8 times 5 is 40. Plus the remaining 3, that's 43. Put that back over the denominator of 5. Done. So when you're changing a mixed number to an improper fraction, you take the whole number and you multiply it by the denominator, and then you add the numerator, and that's your total number of parts. It's your new numerator. Put it over the old denominator and you're all done. And with a bit of practice, this will soon be second nature for you.
Okay, we learned to make an improper fraction. You're going to take the denominator and you're multiplying it by the whole number. So we're going to say 2 times 3. 2 times 3 equals 6. And then you take that answer and you're going to add it to the numerator. 6 plus 1 equals 7. That gets you your numerator. Your denominator will stay whatever the denominator was in your original fraction. So 3½ equals 7/2 as an improper fraction. Remember, improper means that the top is bigger or heavier than the bottom. Number 10, find the perimeter. You guys know that when you're finding the perimeter of a rectangle or a square, you add up all the sides, but it's also the same with any kind of shape. You're just adding up the sides. Let's watch a short song about perimeter and then we will do it together.
Now that we learned how to measure in centimeters and meters, and we talked about inches and feet. That's right. Now we're gonna talk about with perimeter, you have to measure each side, add them up, and we find perimeter, that's perimeter, perimeter, that's perimeter. With perimeter, you have to measure each side, add them up, and we find perimeter, that's perimeter, perimeter, that's perimeter. With perimeter, you have to measure each side, add them up, and we find perimeter. Perimeter, that's perimeter. With perimeter, you have to measure each side one at a time. Write them down, add them up, and what do you find? Perimeter, that's perimeter. Perimeter, that's perimeter. With perimeter, you have to measure each side one at a time. Write them down, add them up, and what do you find? Perimeter, that's perimeter. Perimeter, that's perimeter. With perimeter, you have to measure each side, add them up, and we find perimeter, that's perimeter. Perimeter, that's perimeter. With perimeter, you have to measure each side, add them up, and we find perimeter, perimeter, that's perimeter, 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 that's perimeter.
Okay, so since we know perimeter means add up all the sides, I'm going to say 9 plus 18 plus 9 plus 14. Now some of you might be able to add it this way, but for others you might need to use your scratch paper. So let's go to our scratch paper and we're going to add it up. Remember, you're going to add everything up so it lines up with the ones place, and when we're adding, it's okay to change the order. Only when you're adding you can change the order. So I'm going to take the bigger numbers 18 and 14 and I'm going to put those on top. The two smaller numbers 9 and 9 and I'm going to put those on bottom. You don't have to do it that way. For me, it's just easier if I put the bigger numbers on the top. 8 plus 4 equals 12 and 9 plus 9 equals 18. So I'm actually going to do like a little mini addition problem over here on the side. 2 plus 8 equals 10. Bundle and move to the tens place. 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 30. So all these numbers, 8 plus 4 plus 9 plus 9 equals 30. I'm going to write my 0. And 30 is 3 groups of 10 ones, so I'm going to bundle it over here over the tens place. 3 plus 1 plus 1 equals 5. So my answer is 50. Remember, you have to say 50 what? 50 centimeters. The perimeter is 50 centimeters. Remember, perimeter is the outside, the distance around the outside. That's it for today, boys and girls. I will see you tomorrow for our last video before summer break. Bye for now.